In the past year, I feel like people that are tuned into the beauty space this past year have noticed the lack of shade range in complexion products, both at the drugstore and also high-end. And CoverGirl has come out with, or they're about to come out with, a foundation that has 40 shades. But the question is it a good foundation? Is it worth your money? So that's what we're going to be testing today, and we're going to be getting into that right now. As you may have noticed, if you follow a lot of people that make beauty content, either on Instagram or on YouTube, you've probably seen the giant PR boxes that went out from CoverGirl of their new True Blend matte made, I want to say made matte, but it's matte made foundation. I did receive one of those boxes, so thank you to CoverGirl for sending it to me. I put up a bunch of swatch pictures on my Instagram. As you can see on the left side of the photo, I have put in swatches that are wet, and then what I did was I allowed the foundation to dry completely on my arm. That was at least 30 minutes, sometimes even longer if I was busy, just to see if the foundations were oxidizing, if they changed at all as they dried down. Because when we put a foundation on, like let's say maybe there's a tester in the store, I don't know if there's going to be testers of these products, sometimes they look different after they've been sitting on skin for a while, so I wanted to be able to represent both of those for you. So those pictures are up on my Instagram if you want them for reference. Let's say you're in store and you want to purchase, you can pull that up and check it out. What we're going to be doing today is we are going to be testing out, doing a full day wear test of the foundation along with the primers that just came out. We're going to be doing one primer on one side, one primer on the other side. There are 4 of the primers. There's the skin smoothing one. There is the pore minimizing one, which skin smoothing and pore minimizing, I'm wondering, I kind of see those as kind of being similar in that when you're minimizing pores, you're smoothing the skin. I don't know. Color neutralizing, and then we also have the illuminating. They look like they have pretty much the same ingredients, but they're in different orders. So I don't know how much that order makes a difference, but I really feel like I can't try more than 2. So I think what we're going to do is let's do the skin smoothing one since I have more fine lines than I have pores, and we'll do the illuminate one to see if that makes a difference. We're also going to be shade matching me. I've got 5 different shades of the foundation here. I've also got 5 foundations that I already own from different brands that we're going to compare, so you can kind of see if you're a similar skin tone to me, which foundations might match. But before we get into that, let's just get a little bit into the brand itself. Just in case you are not aware, CoverGirl is a drugstore brand. They've been sold in drugstores for many years. They are not a cruelty-free brand because they do sell in mainland China. And the logic behind that, I've been getting a lot of questions about this lately. The logic behind that is, even though CoverGirl does not test their products in the United States on animals, because they sell in China, they know their products are going to be tested on animals. So in a way, they're kind of condoning the animal testing by selling their products in China, knowing that they're going to be tested on animals, even though they don't do the testing themselves. That's how all of that works. And that is very similar to many non-cruelty-free brands that are on the market today. As far as ingredients go, just some things to be aware of. Just so you know, this is considered a silicone-based foundation. Water is the number 1 ingredient, but water is the number 1 ingredient in most silicone-based products. It's just the way, in order to make the product work, you need water most of the time. So just if you see water as the first ingredient, that doesn't mean that it's water-based. You want to look for oxane or cone as far as the end of the word to know whether it's silicone-based. And one thing I noticed is that the base of all of the primers is the same as the foundation, which is really smart because that means they will blend well together, which is great. So cyclopentasiloxane is the second ingredient. This is an ingredient that isn't super environmentally friendly. It does build up in the environment and it doesn't biodegrade very well. So if you're using this product, what I would recommend, if you can, is to wipe it off and throw the wipe away rather than washing it down the sink if you can. The third ingredient is talc. Some people are sensitive to talc, so if you are, unfortunately, this foundation is not going to be for you. The 5th ingredient is also dimethicone. There's another dimethicone at number 6. And the last thing I wanted to mention to you was the preservative, which is phenoxyethanol. Phenoxyethanol, some people are sensitive to. This is what a lot of companies use instead of parabens. When people freaked out about parabens, they replaced it with phenoxyethanol, but some people are also sensitive to phenoxyethanol. I figured I would mention that just in case that's you. Oh my gosh, why? Why do you have to mow the lawn right now? It's the curse of spring. It's brighter in here, but yet we have more outside noise. So let's go ahead and let's shade match me. I think this is going to be a lot of fun to figure out. I did wear one of the shades yesterday and it was definitely too dark for me, but I was just hanging out with my family. So, but this is the picture of me not matching. Note the eyebrow. It's like white and then darker. Oops. I saw this technique on the channel Too Much Mouth and I just have fallen in love with her channel recently. She is so adorable and so honest and I just love her. So what she does is she swatches them on the side of her face, so that's what we're gonna go ahead and do. When I put the swatches up of my arm on Instagram, you know, one shade looked like it might be the right shade, but next to my face, let me put the not sunlit side, my face is a slightly different color than my arm. So, you know, we'll do a bunch of different ones, but this was the one that people said looked the closest to my skin tone, and I agree as far as the swatches on Instagram. This is called L20. This is the lightest shade, so let's go ahead and swatch that. Okay, we'll go ahead and let that dry while we do L15. This one is just a little bit pinkier, I believe. This is called Porcelain, which I don't think looks porcelain at all. That is definitely not porcelain. The next one that looked close to me was L40. I'm running out of cheek space here, because I want to do the ones that I already own above. And this one is M15. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. Let me turn a little bit, because I'm starting to run out here. Okay, so what we'll do is I'll put M20 on this side over here. This was the one I wore yesterday that I know is way too dark. Okay, while those dry, I'm gonna go ahead and swatch Fenty's 150, which was what I was shade matched for Fenty. Too Faced Vanilla. This is the Too Faced Born This Way. This is L'Oreal's 103 of their Pro Matte line. And then this is L'Oreal's Visible Lift Blur Foundation. This is in the shade 204, which is called Creamy Natural. And then finally, I have the Revlon Youth FX. This is in the shade... Finally, I have the Revlon Youth FX. This is in the shade 220 Natural Beige. So as you can see, some of these shades don't match me right now. I do have a little bit of a range around, but I wanted to show you a range so in case you don't exactly match me, you can kind of see how these shades compare. So I'm gonna just go ahead and pause that with the shades labeled on there so you can see what everything is. I honestly think that L40 is my match, which is called Classic Ivory. For my eyes, that's what I see. I'd be curious to know if you think that I shade matched myself correctly, but that's what I'm thinking. So I'm gonna go ahead and wash all this off and I'll be right back. All right, we are back. So let's go ahead and do skin smoothing on my right side, which is the left side of your screen, and then we'll do the illuminating on the other side. Now, because I have normal skin, I just kind of put my primer everywhere. Because this is supposed to be line minimizing, I'm going to pat and press it into the skin, where if it was just like a regular primer that didn't claim to do that, then I would probably just rub it, but we want to make sure we're getting the best out of this. So far I don't really see any kind of skin smoothing effect. Let me go ahead and turn my face. I don't see anything. Nope, nothing. Let's do the illuminizing and see if it is illuminating. Illuminizing, it's probably illuminating, isn't it? I definitely see some shine here with this one. This one feels different too. It feels more lotiony. Yeah, they all have that same kind of scent. It's not super strong, but if you are sensitive to scents, you probably won't like this. It's like they took chemicals and it didn't smell so good and they put flowers on top of them. That's what it smells like to me. But it's not super strong, but if you are sensitive to scents, you probably won't like this. All right, let's go ahead and apply the foundation. And I'm gonna do 2 pumps. I don't like putting on a lot of foundation. I know a lot of people on YouTube put on, you know, 4 or 5 pumps of foundation, and it's like, I don't like the way that makes my skin look. That's just me personally, and that's a lot of foundation. It is a lot. So we're just gonna do 2 pumps and we'll see how that looks. That's what I used yesterday. And this right here is a Marc Jacobs brush. This is called the Face. It's specifically made for foundation, and I really like it. I've used this brush for years, and I'm finding that this foundation goes on a little bit streaky with it. So maybe a beauty blender or something of that sort, some kind of beauty sponge might blend it a little bit better, because this is going on quite streaky. I'm not sure if you can see it zoomed up, but on this side, which was the luminized side, I feel like it's breaking up a little bit, where the smoothing side, I feel like it's not breaking up. Can you see that right there? I'm hoping my camera will be able to pick it up. But yeah, I don't know about that. We'll put on some powder and we'll see how it is. Let's come back in a second. Okay, so we've now applied, like you're here doing it with me. Well, you kind of are, but you weren't here for that part, so it wasn't we, it was me. I just applied the number 3 medium in the Multitasker Face Powder by Milani to both sides. So let's go ahead and zoom in and kind of look and see what we're dealing with here. Remember, this is the skin smoothing side, and then this is the luminizer side. Now, to my naked eye, I can see just a tad bit more luminosity on this side, but I don't think it's enough for anybody that isn't up close scrutinizing the face to be able to see the luminosity of it. I feel like this foundation is meant to be matte, and I feel like the matte of the foundation is definitely overpowering the luminizing primer, at least as of now. We'll have to see how it wears through the day. I'm not going to wear any concealer today because I don't want, I want you to be able to see how the foundation reacts under my eyes. And if I put another product under my eyes, then it might be changing that. Well, it would change that completely. So we'll just go with foundation all over the face now. So I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of my makeup, and I will be right back. So we are back. I have my full face on. Let's go ahead and zoom in so you can just see how the rest of my face looks with full makeup on. This is actually a double day for me as far as wear tests. I'm also testing the Nudie Patootie palette by Laura Lee. It is currently, what time is it? It is 3 o'clock right now. Let me show you. Proof, receipt, it's 3 o'clock. So we'll be back at the end of the day to check and see how the foundation wore. And yeah, I'm excited to show you. Hopefully it wears well over this primer. So I'll take a little break, but I will see you in a couple seconds, which will be at the end of the day for me. Hello, my friend, we are back. And it is time to check in on the foundation. Now, from my eyes, I think it looks pretty good, but I'm curious to know what you think. I'm gonna zoom in real close. So remember, this is the smoothing side and this is the luminous side. I think everything looks really good. I feel like I've still got that medium coverage on, where yesterday when I didn't have primer on, it definitely faded down to a light coverage by this time in the night. I mean, it's been 8 hours. It's about 11:30 at night-ish. And I'm actually really impressed with how well the primers worked. I mean, I know I had a little bit of kind of, I'm not sure about this with the illuminizing primer, but it really does look nice. I don't see any caking around my chin. One thing I see sometimes is foundation that cakes up into my wrinkles up here, but nothing there. I mean, it just looks, it looks good. I admit it, it looks really good. So for me at this point, this is definitely a recommend. I am really excited about this foundation, especially at a drugstore price. I like the finish of it. I like the coverage of it. I like the lasting power. I don't have anything weird, funky going on. I do have normal skin, so what happens with me may be different for you if you have dry or combo or oily skin, but it really worked very well for me. One thing I did want to show you real quick was the dried down blended swatches. I did do, along with the thick swatches, I did some that were blended with a concealer brush. One reason why I didn't do that for my Instagram post was because my friend Summer, who's been a community member in the group for a really, really long time, she was talking, and rightly so, about my natural skin tone possibly coming through on a blended swatch, which makes perfect sense. But because I have a neutral undertone, I'm hoping that these swatches will still be helpful. And since I did do them, I figured I would show them to you. So this was done with a Sephora concealer brush, and you can see that the tones tend to look a lot more similar when they're blended out a little more. So I thought that was really, really interesting. I noticed that especially with the medium shades, that they just looked really similar. I thought that was kind of odd. But in the thicker swatches, you can definitely tell a difference, and we could tell the difference on my face on the swatches. So I don't know what's going on, but hopefully you'll be able to find your shade somewhere in here. I do feel like they tried with the deep to light shades. Where they completely missed was the fair shades. There's nothing for my pale princesses out there. Like I felt, like it broke my heart when I saw that there were these really light shades, but then when they were swatched, it was like, where's from a pale girls? What's going on here? So I'm glad they hit a lot of people, but unfortunately they still missed an entire group of people, which made me really sad. So maybe one day they'll extend it to 50 shades and include the true porcelain. But that's really my biggest complaint. I like it. I mean, I personally prefer a little more dewy of a finish, but that's really a personal preference thing. I don't feel like the matte is so matte that it makes me look like I'm wearing a mask. It's not a cakey foundation in any way. I also really love that there's a pump on here, and because there is a pump on here, I feel very comfortable donating these to Project Beauty Share, which is where all of these products are going to go, and also a lot of the products that were sent to me from CoverGirl in the previous PR box. The eyeshadow palette that I didn't use, the concealer palette, the face products, all of those will be donated to Project Beauty Share along with all of these foundations now that I have reviewed them for you. This will be my first official donation to Project Beauty Share, but I'm sure there will be many more. If you'd like to know more about Project Beauty Share, I will leave information down below. My acquaintance Taylor over at That Taylor, she is very, very involved with that program, and they donate makeup to people who are trying to get up on their feet. Sometimes a little bit of makeup can really help someone feel a little bit better about themselves, maybe make them feel more professional going into a job interview, things like that. So it does make a huge difference. So that's why I'll be donating all of this stuff to them. So I want to take a minute to thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, definitely make sure you hit the subscribe button down below. All of my review videos are very detailed like this. So if you like that format, you're in for a treat. All of my videos follow pretty much the same format. And if you're coming back to my videos from another video, thanks so much for watching again and taking time out of your day. I know you could be doing a million things right now, but you took some time out of your day to watch one of my videos, and I really appreciate you for that. So thank you again so much for watching, and mad love to you. I hope you are well. I will see you in a video very, very soon.